Welcome back to Team Junkyard Dog, and today we are still working on Tyrone, getting ready for December Destruction in Miami, put on by Robot Ruckus. And I'm going to give you just a quick update of where I'm at and what I'm thinking with Tyrone 2.0. Let's get into it. Okay, so here's a concept for Tyrone 2.0, and I already know what you're thinking is you said no more 3D printed parts, that you were going to go all aluminum. Well, with this super solid blade that I have here, it's really hard to not use 3D printed parts just because of weight and trying to stay under the 16-ounce protocol. What I'm going to do is, I could do a skeleton version of an all aluminum chassis, but what I'm doing is I'm just like replacing this motor mount on this PETG chassis with an aluminum mount instead of the 3D printed one. And I'm just gonna throw this together to get it functional. And then what I'm gonna do is put it in the test box that we just built and drive it around, see if it even moves, and then hit something pretty heavy to see how durable this is gonna be and if it's something I can use for competition. And if it'll put out, I'm not really worried about receiving hits because it's either I'm hitting them or I'm just gonna be out. I mean, and you can see how big my blade is. It is actually coming behind the actual bot as well as in front. So pretty big weapon for this little body. I have a feeling it's just going to shear all this off, especially when I let it spool up and really hit it well. So let's go ahead and solder the electronics together and then we'll go from there. Okay, so here's my parts. This is going to be this is actually a drone ESC. It's a 12 amp by Lynx Motion. I'm going to use this for the weapon, and then I have the two tiny ESCs by Fingertech that are going to be for my drives. I'm using the ever popular Fingertech spark generator 22-to-1 gear motors, and then I have my own little 3D printed kill switch here that has been through probably a dozen fights and still holding up quite well, so I will continue to use this. And then I'm going to just hot glue basically the motors in. I'm not going to really try to bolt them down yet just because I don't want to destroy this and have to do a bunch of unnecessary work. So anyway, let's switch to a time lapse and we're going to solder these electronics together first, and then I like to see which way my orientations of my motors are, and then I install them. So let's get to it. Okay, so for this build, I'm using the FrSky X4R as my receiver, along with the Tyrannus plus whatever the full name is, transmitter, who knows. But I'm just gonna plug in my speed controls, and I've used this on a previous bot, so I'm pretty sure it'll be close to where I need it. Of course, I won't be hooking the weapon motor up until I'm sure, because we don't need that kind of excitement. And now we'll get a battery. We'll plug a battery up. Nothing happened. That's good. We got our little switch here. Let's go ahead and screw in the screw. Turn on the transmitter. We got lights. That's a good start. We have a green and a red. To be continued. Okay, so we have movement now. When you're going to go test new electronics, you should make sure the battery's charged. Okay, so we can see that that would be forward. That would be right, left, right. So this is the way it needs to go, just like that right there. Okay, so all we have to do now is we're just going to kind of hot glue these drive motors in, and then just kind of stuff everything in there, and we'll do some tests. So let's go ahead and get that done. I know y'all are thinking that's never going to hold in a battle, and you're right. And this isn't even a battle chassis, as I would call it. This is just for proof of concept to see if this PETG can withstand 2 minutes of abuse, which I'm not feeling very hopeful. I'm sure I'll end up still making this out of aluminum, but we have 10 days before the competition, so it gives me a little bit of time to experiment. Okay, so we got everything installed in there, and as you can see, he's having a hard time pushing that big blade around. Still don't have the weapon hooked up, so I got to figure out a way to to make that better. And I'm sure if the blade was spinning, it's going to spin easier, but that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid there was going to be too much weight in the front. Let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so this is the inside of the future live and test box, and I got the bugs worked out. The motor was apparently bad, and what you can see, I can kind of drive, but it struggles. But this weapon needs some serious work, because yeah, that's as far as I got. I don't even know what happened just now. Let's see here. I think the battery's going low, but
telemetry lost. Telemetry recovered.
Needs another battery. Take two. We're gonna see if this battery has any more juice in it than the other one did. Apparently this design isn't gonna work, but let's go ahead and try to spin it up anyway. Well, we hit the wall. Now we gotta figure everything's not soldered to put in the way it should be. I'm just kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but we did put a nice gouge in the test box, that's for sure. Let's see if we can get this figured out again. Let's see if we can hit this.
Signal critical. Telemetry on.
So you can control it a little bit, and it does definitely do damage, and it would be much better if I actually taped or glued everything down, but we'll call that a success. I don't know how well this is going to convey, but you can see that there's a 1/4 inch gouge taken out right there, another one right here, and it's only about a 1/4 inch deep, but ricocheted off over here, but it's got potential. I think if we get the blade balanced properly, we'll have a fighting chance even with this design. That's why we do the R&D and we do the testing. Now I will balance the blade. I need to figure out how to shift some of the weight to the back, and maybe it'll be good that way. We'll find out. If I can get this under control, it is going to throw some major hits. And I have not ruled out the option of drilling some relief holes in the blade itself just to lighten it, so it'll spin up quicker, it's less load on the motor, and it will not make it so nose heavy as well, to where I might be able to drive a little better. This will be part 2 of Tyrone's update. I hope you enjoyed my fumbling around and trying to figure stuff out. That's all part of the process. Team Junkyard Dog out.